Talking today about small and growing businesses and getting organic attention, which is phenomenal. But yeah, we need organic. It's the one we want. We hear constantly that businesses need to be on social media, creating content, building an audience, and getting in front of potential customers. But knowing you should be and knowing what to actually do are two very different things. And then there's TikTok. For some businesses, it's become incredibly powerful way to reach people organically, while others are still wondering whether TikTok is even relevant to their business. So today we're going to unpack some of that. We have Graeme with us today. So I'm really pleased to introduce Graeme Paddock, from founder of the UpTik and a member of our What's So Gregory Hills community. Graeme brings experience across social media, marketing, sales, and business growth, with a particular focus on helping businesses capture attention and turn that attention into commercial results. The results behind the work are pretty impressive, including businesses scaling beyond 100 million in annual revenue, an Amazon brand growing from 650 to 16 million, and businesses achieving significant improvements in profitability. Today, Graeme's taking us through unlocking organic attention using TikTok. So, Graeme, over to you. I think we've got 27 here. Are you ready to we go? Yep, we're just going to go ahead. So, Graeme,
Sounds good.
all
Thanks
yours.
for the appreciate it. Nice intro. Thanks for that, Tia. So guys, happy to be here, and yeah, my game is to give you as much value as possible. Few apologies up front. I speak really fast, but I get really passionate about this industry. I love it. I've gone very deep into it, and I'm going to share some practical stuff today. So I do a lot of coaching. I speak all around the world, which I'll go through in a moment. But the biggest thing for me is I hate pictures, and I hate getting on stage and showing all this fancy stuff, and then people walk away and be like, "What do I do now? Sounds great." So I'm actually going to give you practical examples. Of what you can do straight after this to drive organic attention and use TikTok as a core discovery channel. And I think that's the best way to think about it. Not so much like, this is like a social media presentation. Well, it is, of course, because it's about short form content. But TikTok is the fastest, if you didn't already know, growing social platform in the world, including Australia. And I'm going to give you direct statistics around it. So look, I'm going to share my screen. I'll get into it. I will answer anything and everything. Again, like I said, if you just put it in the chat group, leave it to the end. And like I said, I'll give you my best. So just give me one sec while I share my screen, and I've got my sound on. All right. Can everyone see that screen right there? I hope so. They should be able to. I just might make that a full screen. Very good. All right. The attention economy. So a little bit about me. I'll just move my head over because you guys can't see that one. So for me specifically, I've been in the e-commerce game for getting old, 15 years now, but 5 years specifically in TikTok. That is my core focus. E-commerce brands, but also I help so many service businesses, which I understand a lot. I'm assuming on the call today are service businesses. So what I talk about is relevant for that as well. We just spin it a different way, which I'll explain. But yeah, I built and sold 6 brands now. It was 7, I think now. Anyway, I consult all around the world, and I'm a co-founder of the UpTik. So what is the UpTik? So we are a business coaching mentorship. I'm not an agency. I coach agencies. So lots of agencies in Australia, around the world. So like more known ones in Australia. So there's a meta company called Jay Wright. I work with Jay. Paul Waddy has an e-commerce community. I coach his community. So I'm the TikTok guy in all the communities in Australia and around the world, but I'm not an agency. So everything we do is a done with you model. I give plug and play systems to say, basically, step by step, this is what needs to happen from wherever you are right now to wherever you need to go. And then we do a breakdown. But that's what we do. Again, I'm very lucky. I've had a lot of success around the world and being featured on USA Today. I wrote a book, which is being released at the end of the year, that Robert's helping us with, which is really cool. And I work in direct partnership with TikTok. So what I'm sharing today is not guesswork. This is not, oh, I just try this and give it a go. I'm very lucky with my partnership, and through my success results, I have inside information, we'll say, that others don't have, which I'll share with you today. So this is a question I get all the time, is when is Australia getting TikTok Shop? But before I go into that, does everybody in here, and maybe because I can only see my head, just give me a thumbs up, or maybe in a chat group, does everyone know what TikTok Shop actually is? Yes, no.
Hey
No,
Graham, just quickly,
no, no.
can we make your screen full screen? Just with
I
the
thought
little icon on the bottom right?
I thought I did. I didn't. Okay, sorry, one sec.
Beautiful. Thanks.
Great. No, no, no. Yes. Okay, we got a couple there. All right. Uh, so TikTok Shop is the fastest social platform and e-commerce platform in the world. So if you people follow people like Gary Vee, everyone's talking about live shopping, all this sort of stuff. Imagine eBay and Instagram had a baby. That's literally what it is. So Instagram being a social platform, at the moment, what do? You see something, you have a shop now button, then you get taken off platform. You go to a Shopify site, there's a funnel to take you through, you make a purchase, then you go back into scrolling. But there's so much friction. What TikTok Shop is, you see a product, it looks amazing. You say shop now or add to cart. When you click that, it automatically adds to a cart within the TikTok itself, stays on the platform. And if your details are saved, it check out in 2 clicks, literally. Add to cart, check out, and then you move on from scrolling. There was $53 billion, I think it was, 51 or $53 billion done in the first 6 months in America on TikTok Shop in the US. It is ridiculous, and it's coming to Australia in October 27. This is going to change how the game works in regards to influencers, because all these influencers charge all this money because I have all this following. But what's the influencer game? I pay you and I hope. And I hope that the following that you have is the audience that I want to serve, and then I get sales from it. Where it gets turned on its head completely is with TikTok Shop, everything is paid on performance. So imagine that. No longer am I reaching out to influencers, paying them all this money and hoping. I give products to creators, influencers, to make content for me. But every time they make a sale, they make money, I make money. Could be 10%, 15%, whatever your deal is. But then you can scale your business because everything is done paid on performance, and it's part of the organic process. So TikTok Shop will change the game out here. It's opened up in so many other geos around the world that I coach on. And you can see how whole this influencer game is just completely different. And America is by far the business example. The next piece, oh, I'll just go over here. October 27th. So I want to give this with a grain of salt. It was meant to launch in March 25. How's that going? Right. So they're behind, quite simply, because there is so much. You would think that, oh, well, TikTok, all the geos speak to each other. No, they're like mini franchises. So I'll go into TikTok Australia and be like, so why aren't we just implementing exactly what happened in the launch in Mexico, because they crushed it in regards to like the salespeople, the retailers. They're like, oh, we're all different. Like everything comes from ByteDance in China, but there's no communication. Really interesting. So they're really behind. October 27 is when they believe it'll be launched. But it's not that, oh, I wait for the shop to open and then I take advantage of it. All the brands that are going to absolutely crush it are those who take advantage of TikTok now. So it doesn't matter if it's a service industry, it doesn't matter if it's a products industry, and I'll explain all that stuff later on. But quite simply is because TikTok will reward those early adopters, and there's multiple reasons for that, which I'll get through. To give you an example around one of the reasons why they're launching is behind is because of the awareness factor. So even though they have almost half the population in Australia right now who have TikTok as a platform, the engagement levels are down compared to other geos. So how ridiculous America is going back to that, and that's why I concentrate over there because all the money's over there. There are now 200 million users with an average of 3 hours per day on TikTok. 200 million, 3 hours per day average. The next best social platform is YouTube, which is long form content, which is 150 million users and an average of an hour and a half. So they have 50 million, so 25% more users in America and double the amount of time. So attention is currency. If the attention's there, you need to get in front of it. So TikTok do understand that. So they're like, well, what can we do to build our attention? So one of the things, if you're in Sydney, is the ICC Centre is now the TikTok Centre. They've taken over all the naming rights and spent millions of dollars on it simply because they're trying to get more awareness first, and they're pumping that out in multiple ways to then launch the shop. So users first, obviously, you have the attention, and then afterwards, you'll have the opportunity. Those who win, yeah, I just mentioned that right now. I can tell you how many retailers I speak to that they're like, they're going to wait till the shop opens. No, it's just the wrong strategy altogether, because all you're going to do is fight with all the other idiots when you can get organic attention now that the shop will just amplify what you've done. So this is what we're going to do today. I am going to show you 3 core filters for TikTok success. I'm very specific, but again, this is like how I coach. I want to make sure that at the end of this, you're like, oh, you know, besides he did speak really quickly, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and I have exact things I know I can walk away with. So I'm going to show you the 3 core filters for success. And again, whether it's a product business or a service business, there's ways to spin that, and I can answer any questions you have at the end. And the other piece is brand channel. So there are multiple components, but brand channel is the one I'm going to concentrate on today in how do you get complete clarity on what you should post. And again, I'm assuming the audience I have today, but most brands I speak to are sort of getting this TikTok thing underway. Like, I don't know what to post. Where do I start? I've used AI and I went to this seminar and they showed me some stuff. It's all bullshit. Like, I'm just going to show you, no, just do exactly this, because in the TikTok world, you will 100% get your attention. I don't care if it's Instagram, TikTok. Obviously, my concentration is TikTok, but you can repurpose this on your other platforms if you so choose. So I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Again, in the chat group, can I just get a yes, no? How many are using TikTok right now in your business? And even if it's not in your business, how many are using it as TikTok, just as a user, just going on there for entertainment purposes? So can I just get a yes, no in the chat? Just give me an idea, if that's okay, team. Crazy stats. No, no, no. Yes, no. Oh, wow. I've got a lot to convert today. Love it. No, no, no. Oh, team, you're missing out. Okay, cool. Thank you. That's all right. I'm going to harp on a bit longer now because there's a few conversions to be done. So let's just take a step back and I'm going to explain exactly how TikTok works in the world of business specifically. And after this, I really hope, like I said, that you will embrace it. So I would question right now in your business, doesn't matter what you're doing, how many people would buy your product or service if they actually knew you existed, right? So in the world of business, I get so many people trying to refine their product offering, their service, what they do. And I'm like, all of that is lovely, but path to market and attention is more important than anything. And this goes back to old school around McDonald's don't make the best hamburgers. They're just the most well-known. Quite simple. So this is the same thing. TikTok is, so how many people would buy a product if they actually knew you existed? But that's why we spend money on Google SEO and meta ads and all the other stuff, which I'm not a fan of paying to play because I understand how to drive traffic organically, which I'm going to teach you. But my thing is, this is what TikTok does. You're creating the demand. You're not fulfilling it. So this is, like I said, a complete opposite. Think about Google SEO. What is Google SEO? It is keywords that you're paying for that a consumer puts in because they already know what they're searching for. So you're fulfilling a demand. Same as Amazon, same as PPC. I'm on Amazon because I'm going to go buy something right now because I already know the problem that I want to solve. But in that world, there is competition galore. We call it the red ocean because you're going to go after consumers that already know what they want to solve. And then through that, they have all the different competition. But TikTok, it's free eyeballs for your product, for your service, because they didn't even know you exist. People don't go on TikTok to buy stuff intentionally. However, they're like, you know what, that's a great idea. You showed me a problem that I need to solve that I didn't even need to think about, or you gave me an alternative I didn't even know about. That's amazing. So in Australia specifically, people then become aware and then they will go to Amazon, wherever it is, because the shop's not open right now. But at least they found out about you. It's not serving an existing demand. So it is free eyeballs for opportunity. It is pure top of funnel awareness where basically, like I said, we're just throwing this big net out there that are catching all this attention. And then through that funnel, and obviously how you build your content out specifically to hit different benchmarks, then you will drive to the bottom to obviously, like I said, make a sale, however that might be. So this is how the halo effect works. They see you on TikTok, and then they'll just go to your website, or they'll go to your retail store, or they'll go to Amazon, or however else they might find you. But it all started through TikTok. People don't discover you on your website. What your website is the closing mechanism to make sure you are what you appear to be elsewhere. But no one just types in your website. They heard about you, found out you'd be somewhere else. And again, TikTok is the organic channel for that. Here are some direct statistics. So again, I don't work on guesswork. I show me the numbers. Like, all business is built on data. So these are the Australian demographics specifically. You can see here that yes, there is a higher demographic of the 18 to 24, but it's not all kids dancing, which is a thing I've heard so many times. I'm like, oh, no, it's not just kids dancing videos. You can see now 58% are above the age of 25. And I would say most of your products or services, whatever you're selling, would have a 25 or over market, right? And you can see the different demographics. There's now 12.7 million users in Australia. So like I said, just under half the population. Here are some really interesting things which I love. And again, this is directly from Australia. More time is spent on TikTok than any other platform, in that in Australia now, we've also hit, for that 12 million users, 120 minutes a day average. America is 3 hours a day. Now, this is crazy because I do this for a business. I'm on TikTok for about 45 minutes a day, and this is my business, right? So the average is at 120. Some people are on there for days. I don't know, maybe lunch breaks or multiple toilet breaks, whatever. So just in there scrolling. But again, it's because it's so addictive because of the short form and the endorphin hits that you're getting out of it with the content. So again, I would think about, well, if I'm going to spend attention on something, don't just give me rough figures, tell me. Because if I know more attention's there than all these other platforms, maybe you should spend some concentration trying to convert you now, right? Here's another really interesting one. Your customer can only be found on TikTok. This is what blows my mind. So let's use Facebook as an example. We know there's 12.7 million users in Australia right now. These are direct statistics from TikTok, so I have to go on the words that they say, is that 50% of TikTok users, being in this case around 6 million in Australia, they might have Facebook as an app, but they don't own it. They're always on TikTok. This shows the percentage that are not on other platforms. So this is, for me, I know so many brands that spend millions of dollars on meta ads. There are 6 million consumers in Australia that will never see you, ever. And I'm like, well, you could just repurpose a lot of these stuff on TikTok for, it's too hard. Okay. I'm on Meta. Yeah. But just because you're on Meta doesn't mean your consumers are on there. But a lot of people think they always were. No, the game's changed dramatically. Cool. That's an overview. All right. This is what TikTok is. This is what TikTok Shop is. This is understanding its pure discovery. And these are some statistics from Australia and why you should be on it now. But these are the filters that you need to either have with your product service offering or create. And there's ways to do that. So I'm going to show you some product examples because obviously it's easier. Very simple. Is it demonstratable? So again, with products, much easier to say, well, it is actually demonstratable. If we go to a service, the service would be is how can I actually demonstrate visually the service that I have? So again, if you have like an amazing, I don't know, florist or something, or that's not a good example. What's a service example? Like you're an accountancy firm. Okay, great. So you're a great accountant. Wonderful. But like showing me a heap of spreadsheets and whatever else, that's not really going to catch visual attention. Yeah. So you need to think about, okay, what are some things I can demonstrate within my business to show it off? Now, can you use humor? Can you use people? Of course you can. Can you use somebody who's literally got paperwork everywhere, just reading through all this shit and then just throwing it in the bin and then have someone else just like putting their hand on the shoulder and be like, it's okay, I got this for you. Coming down, clean desk and then doing the work. It's got nothing to do with anything other than showing that, oh, one, you're a human being, two, you're entertaining, and the third thing is, oh, you're an accountancy firm. We're not trying to sell anything. This is the key. Like sell is the worst thing you do. I'm trying to build discovery, right? And you can't one hit wonder it. This is not getting one video going viral. Statistics show it's 7 to 10 times to know you, like, you, trust you. So it's multiple pieces of content being like, oh, you know what? I've seen that accountancy firm everywhere. Maybe I should give them a ring. Right? But none of it was like, here is my offering. We're giving them 30% off today for new signups, whatever else. All that is the worst thing you could do. Stop selling, start entertaining and educating. So demonstratable, product easier, obviously service. I gave an example about how do we actually do a transition. And this actually goes into this piece here.
How old do I look? I don't hide my age. I say it in a few of my other videos, so some of you might already know. And I will say it at the end of this video, but look at this and tell me how old I look. Now look at this.
I think it's quite obvious she spent at least a month just moisturizing one side of her face. But again, clear before and after. I used to look like this, now I used to look like that. This goes back to what I mentioned beforehand around in the content you could build for a service industry for an accountant. Beforehand, I had shit everywhere. I couldn't be organized. Now that I've got this person on my side, I'm clear, I have direction, and there's a sense of calmness. So it's before and after. These are the things that connect with consumers, right? And relatability. So Instagram is aspirational. Like, that's why you have like, the perfect photos and whatever else. And that's where I want to get to. TikTok is raw in your face. I'm squeezing a pimple. What's going on here? Like, it is connectable. So it's a completely different style of content. What's really interesting is it works this way, not the other way, in that if you get TikTok working amazingly well, piece of content, you can then repurpose to all the other platforms. Some of the best performing meta ads are TikToks. You can see a little TikTok thing down the corner, right? Or even some meta ads you would see is like, oh, I bought this on TikTok Shop. Like, what do you mean? It's not even available in Australia, because they've repurposed it from the States and brought it over here because it works so well. But the other way, you can have amazing Instagram content. You put it on TikTok, won't work. because people are getting away from the being sold to ads aspirational. I want raw, relatable. So number one was, how do you demonstrate it? Number two is, how do I create before and after? Okay. Just out of curiosity, actually just put in the chat group, give me a second, a bit of water. Yes, it was in America, and yes, TikTok Shop is massive over there, but that one video in 30 days, one video, how much revenue from TikTok only did it generate? Just throw some guesses in the chat group. I'm curious what your thoughts are. And why I say it's TikTok only is because remember I said people see you on TikTok, then they go buy off other platforms. That happens in States as well. But obviously they have the least friction platform for the shop itself. So put some things in the chat group. Give me some numbers. How much did this one video make in 30 days on TikTok? Let me scroll down here. I have no answers at the moment, so we're flying. 3.5 million. Oh, Hazel, not that much. 250, 1 million. 700. 700 is pretty close. I don't know the conversion, but it was $530,000 US. Kind of crazy for one video, you know, maybe you should make two. Maybe they did. But yeah, it goes to show the power of social media again. But what was it? Demonstratable, clear before and after. And this was the key piece.
Chili's.
It serves a passionate audience. So the other thing I want to mention as well is there are so many passionate audience on TikTok I didn't even know existed. Like there are hashtags around like, you know what, lawyers of TikTok. I didn't know being a lawyer is a passionate audience, but it actually really is about different cases and stuff that they win. So if you have a product or a service that no one gives a shit about, it's extremely hard to get traction. If you sell toilet paper, good for you. Like I've got a mate who makes millions of dollars with rubber farms. I didn't even know rubber farms were the thing, but he sells rubber. Like he's like, can you get me going on TikTok? No, because no one cares about rubber and rubber trees, mate. I can't. So if you have something that is a passionate audience, this is how the demonstratable and the before and after will connect together. And the easiest way to understand if you have a passionate audience is to look at the different hashtags on TikTok, right? Here is some more stuff I want to go through with you.
Chili's, the fucking restaurant. A single TikTok. One that one lady did. Not them, not the agency, not an influencer they paid. A human made one video about some triple cheese fucking thing they got. 40% of their Q3 revenue at Chili's is contributed to a single organic post on social media. For the first time in the history of marketing, the creative, if it's good, gets seen a lot with no media dollars. This industry for 50 years has spent good ass media dollars amplifying shit ass creative.
So I want that to sink in a bit for a minute. And obviously, if you don't believe me, Gary V, you probably should believe him. He's always right, that bloke. So that one video I showed you, like that's one of our clients actually. $535,000 one video. 40% of a Q3 revenue for Chili. So I'm curious, what is 40%? And I don't care about turnover, I care about leftover. I'm a business owner, right? And I'm not a creator, I'm not an influencer, I'm a business owner. Everyone goes like, I turn over this much. What is leftover? So apparently, $118 million is roughly what they're turning over. With their 40% of that, is their profit margin. So that one video is around $47 million. Doesn't seem realistic, but it actually is. These are the numbers. One video attributed to approximately $40 million in revenue. So all of that is to go through with you to be like, listen, if you think TikTok is still kids dancing, if you're like, look, you know what, I'll get to it later on. I'm not saying you should drop all your other marketing things, but I do believe you should give it some attention, because if you don't, you are 100% going to be behind the game, because the game is changing dramatically. And I say this with all respect. I work with all the big e-commerce brands in Australia who've all of them been talking about Meta and SEO, and all of them are coming to me now and be like, listen, we can't keep playing this game. We need to drive more organic attention, because Meta ads is getting more and more expensive, but you're always playing in a pool of competition. You got to think about it. When you're bidding on Meta, what are you doing? You're putting up a piece of content. You're paying to see if that content works. And the second thing is, depending how much you pay is depending how much other people are trying to target the same avatar as you. Fun. Or TikTok, it's like, no, it's pure organic. So if it's going to win, it's up to me. I just need to make sure I'm hitting the right benchmarks for virality. One of the cool things about working in direct partnership with TikTok, I don't guess, I have in writing exactly what every video needs to go viral. There are 3 core components, which I can talk about at the end if you like. I don't know if I have time for it, but again, this is not guesswork. There's 3 core components that you must hit for virality, which I'll go through afterwards. These are things I mentioned. Lawyers of TikTok, who knew? Dog talk. Trucks of TikTok. I'm not a truck guy. but apparently biohacking, yeah, I knew that would be longevity. So if you have a passionate group, much easier to get follow through. Demonstrate before and after, passionate audience. Cool? We should be cool with that. I think everyone's got that. Again, any questions we'll ask at the end. That's piece one. Piece two, how to use TikTok to grow my business. So these are things I want you to think about as well. It's not becoming a full-time creator yourself. I hate it. Like, and it's actually funny because we have conversations about this all the time. I need to be more on social media because I coach it, but I'm not a creator. I'm a business owner. So I'm like, I don't like doing it, but I have to do it because it's not a synergy, right? You don't have to become a creator yourself. And it's not jumping on trends, just being viral or against being influencers. But what it is about is understanding, oh, sorry, it went too fast, is how can you be a conductor at the front of an orchestra? Someone explained it to me like that. I'm like, that's fucking amazing. That is the best thing I have heard it. So at a conductor at the front of it, what are you doing? You're waving the wand and you're knowing exactly the notes that need to be hit. And everyone in the audience, they're the ones who are actually, like I said, playing the band, but they don't know what to play without your instructions. So that's the way you need to see it as a business owner, marketing person within your team is like, right, maybe I don't need to be an influencer myself. In saying that, if you want to jump on a camera, helps immensely because people will always connect with people before they connect with brands, but completely understand, me included, a lot of brands don't want to be the face of things. You know, in saying that, there's ways to get around that. All right, well, how do I find a creator that is, you know, the face of the business, so to speak, because familiarity helps so much with breakthrough. But all this stuff is around, you don't have to be it yourself, but you have to understand what are the frameworks, because when you do, then when you're instructing other people, you can understand if they're on track or off track, right? So brand channel, what do I post? And this goes back to what I said at the very start. I get it all the time. Like, what do I post? I don't know where to start, what to do. And think about it this way. And I'm going to give you some direct examples. Actually, I'll do a live exercise with someone. That's so much easier. I'm like, if I can show you other than tell you, much easier. So borrowed, paid, owned. Borrowed, paid, owned is quite simply the three different styles of content. So borrowed is working with creators, influencers, one piece. Paid is running ads, we know this, and owned is your own content. So brand channel is your own content. We do not touch paid on TikTok until you have organic fit. Paid ads on TikTok is like, I'm going to put fuel onto a fire. I already know it's burning, but this is not meta, it's not SEO. I'm not paying to play. I test organically, and then when I know it works, I double down on it with ad spend to see how deep the well is and how much money I can make out of it. So borrowed is creators, paid is ads, and owned is your own channel. So in an ideal world, they work in a flywheel, but it starts with owned. And the reason why is this, is because you need to build up a presence on your own channel to get good creators to work with you, because they realize you become a leaking bucket. Oh, if I start, especially when the shop opens, that's going to change things dramatically, as I mentioned. But why would creators, influencers want to work with you? And they're like, oh, okay, cool. I make this content and then I put it out there and then I'm trying to get sales based that you've got this on the commission structure, so to speak. But then when consumers go and check out your channel, you've put up 3 posts and got 10 followers. Are you a Chinese dropshipper? Are you a real business? Like, you become a leaking bucket for them. So you need to build your own channel so people know you, like, and trust you from a consumer level, also creators as well. And you can test frameworks there organically that then they can recreate. Because on your own channel, you're never actually talking about how good you are, because everyone says that. Like, of course you are, that's you. How brand is built is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. And that's what's done with creators. So the flywheel is what's important. But what I'm going to concentrate on today is, as I mentioned, the own space. So I might just stop sharing my screen for 1 second. And I'm just going to do a live exercise. Girls, give me 1 second. I'm just going to dig up something here. Out of that. Cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. Can I get a volunteer? Can I get somebody who's got a business who wants to be my guinea pig? And if it's okay, I'm going to do a live example in front of everybody of exactly what you need to do, as well as everyone then can learn from that. So me, that was quick. You win. First in, best dressed. So who's me? Me is, Sarah, the accountant. How funny is that? Cool. So Sarah, the accountant, we're going to work together in this, right? Because I need to ask you a few questions. So
sure. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see your face, but hang on a second. I'm going to move along because it's so much easier if I know I'm talking to you.
Did you say you're at Gregory Hills?
No, at the moment I'm at Campbelltown.
Oh,
But I go to Gregory
Sorry.
Hills quite often. Yeah.
No, because I'm literally at Gregory Hills. So if you were like over there, I was going to run over and actually physically sit with you, but you're not
Oh,
at Gregory Hills.
that's all right, Sarah.
Nice.
If I help, you can buy me a coffee later when I'm over there. Cool.
Yay.
So
And
Sarah,
I've also got Chelsea on the call. She's my marketing magical person. So she's
oh, hey,
listening to all this
Chelsea.
as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I hope this is helpful. So let's do a live exercise with you. So
Sure.
this is what we want to do is I'm trying to find content that I need to put on my own channel so people know, like, and trust me. We're not selling, we're giving value. Okay.
Yeah.
So the best thing we can do is rip off and duplicate. So many people want to reinvent the wheel, right? But okay, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I want to know what's already working out there. But how do I know that? Well, here is the exact process to do it. So I'm going to share my screen again. And after I share it,
So when you say rip off and duplicate, would that be me translating that into follow similar people and get inspiration from them that you would run adjacently without completely copying them?
nope. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Can you see my screen?
Okay.
Google, very technical.
We can see Google.
Great.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the easiest way to be an expert in the problem space your product lives in is to answer the questions that they're asking. And that's it. I'm going to say that again. You want to be seen, I don't care what you do, as either an expert or a perceived expert, because there's ways to do that, in the problem space your product lives in. So a perceived expert would be, I'm selling a supplement. I know stuff all about supplements. But if I made a piece of content and I had a doctor's jacket on, you would pay more attention to me. I never said I was a doctor, but I have a doctor's jacket on. And in this setting, you feel like, oh, well, he looks like he's in a chemist, so maybe he knows what he's talking about. No, I don't. It's like nowadays, I could write a book with AI in about 4 hours and I would be an author. And I know nothing about accounting, but I'm like, hey, you know what? I've got a how-to guide about accounting. I wrote a book for it. Here you go. Really cool. Thanks. This is the same thing. So that's perceived. If you are an expert, way better. So what you want to do is you want to answer the questions that your consumers are asking. So in the accountant world and what you're doing right now, what is a common question that you believe your consumer would be asking?
I need to get an ABN. Should I be a sole trader or a company?
Okay. Oh, no, do that again. Sorry, my bad. So what was the question?
So a big one that I get is that they want to move from an employee to an ABN holder, and they want to know, should they be a sole trader or a company?
Should. All right. Sorry, I'm typing like on a wall because of the way this screen's set up. Should I be a sole trader?
A sole trader or a PTY Ltd? If you're typing on that. I could have typed that for you. You could have copy paste.
You could have. All right. So this is step number 1. It's a 4-step process. It's piss easy, but again, it's one of those things where you don't know what you don't know. The first thing you want to do is, doesn't matter, I don't care what you do, products, services, type in the question that you believe your consumer is asking. It may or may not be right, okay? The next thing we do is we scroll down to a section here. See it says people also ask?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so this is the bullshit world of Google. See these 4 things here? These are not the 4 most common things that people ask. What they are is they're the questions right now that Google has the most SEO AdWords spent behind them because they want you to click that to go to a sponsored ad so they make money. So what I want to do is I want to unlock all the things that I can actually learn of, yes, what is this question? But more importantly, what is other questions that might be more relevant? So the hack is, see this top right-hand one here? You need to open and close that 10 times. 2, 3, 4. So we had 4 options that they gave us. Yep. After we open up the hack, now here are all the other questions that people are asking through Google that no one tells you about. Yep. Cool. So step 1, what is the question that people
Because I'm an accountant,
yes.
I was counting you. You only did it 9 times.
Okay, thank you. There's more then. Thank you. You're good. Right.
Little OCD. Yep.
Yeah, 10 opens it up. That's good. So now what we do is step 3 is, okay, should I be a sole trader or a PTY Ltd? Now I've got all the other related questions that have been opened up to me. Is there something in here that's more specific? Because the more niche and the more specific you can be,
yes,
the better you will connect. So can you read anything in here and be like, actually, that's a better question?
Yeah. So what are the disadvantages of being a sole trader?
Where's that?
It was up higher. Because it's better off trying to. So when they say, should I be a sole trader or a company? It's better
This
to
one
say,
here?
yeah, what are the 10 disadvantages of being a sole trader? Because it's
Right.
more about when they want to make the decision, you got to go, well, what do you not want and what do you want?
Got it. Okay, wonderful. So step number 3, go like number 1 was like, what is the question that we think they ask? Number 2, I opened up the hack. Great. Now I've got other questions. Now I found something more niched in, which is this one here. I put it up the top here. Ooh, Control V. Where are you? And I do exactly the same process again. So then I put that question back into the Google search. But this time, what I do is I move along to more, and I see here it's got short videos. So then once I put it up the top, I go to short videos. This is not only TikTok, this is TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. There's one here. There is Facebook, there's Pinterest on here. These are all the highest ranked videos that answer that direct question you just asked. Now we move into rip off and duplicate, because the next step is you then want to start saving these videos in a library. This becomes your content plan to be like, you know what, which ones could I recreate? Because if they're jumping out of airplanes, we ain't doing that. But if they're simply talking about X, Y, Z, and I'm like, that makes sense. So you want to study, how did they say it? What did they bring in the frame? Did they have things that they have thump factor because that catches attention, all right? Were they cutting and changing with things? Did they walk into screen? What was the background? All of this stuff which your team member in the marketing world will study. But now you have a library that if you can consistently, not this one question, but obviously do this multiple times, but with all the other questions are there, just constantly keep answering the direct questions that people are asking in your field, but you're also answering them in the exact way that you know is ranked the highest in regards to Google searches and all other searches on any other platform. So the difference is
focus group tested already for you.
100%, because now, like, I want to get my message across, but I want to know it connects with the right audience, right? So the biggest piece here is, again, are we ripping off and duplicating? Yes, but will it get served to a completely different audience? 100%, because I promise, Sarah, you and I, you could be standing here and you could say the identical things I'm saying right now. If we put a piece of content out, they would get served to 2 different pieces, 2 different audiences, but same avatar. Because of my mannerism, I'm a male, the way I talk, the way I speak, or whatever else, it's just different. Even though our words could be identical, they would go to the same avatar, but they would go to different audiences. So some people get concerned. They're like, oh, if I copy, then everyone's going to know I copy. No, they fucking won't. They've got no idea you copied, because a whole different audience will see you. They've got no idea whatsoever. So this is what we need to do. We need to understand that, okay, for us, on my brand channel, I'm just going to go back to my little screen over here. That'll make sense.
Mute me again. Yeah, it was fantastic. No, thank you. Yay. Do you want to mute me again? Because I'm in a loud office.
I have no idea how to do that. Hopefully someone else here does.
I did it.
Okay, cool. Right. So back over here. Hope you can see that one. This is our 4-step little process. Okay. We need to make that a bit bigger. What is the question that you have? Now, you asked a pretty good question to start off with, but a lot of business owners have blinkers and they're like, oh, I think they asked that. Okay, well, give it your best, but then expand it to try and find something more specific. Again, every piece of content that speaks down to a smaller audience is better. You get breakthrough much quicker than being broad, because even a smaller audience is still thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and the algorithm will pick up on that. All right. The next thing to do is obviously put it in the search bar, and then obviously with the videos that you can recreate, that's realistic. I'm going to go through questions as well. I'm going to add one last piece, which I wasn't going to, but I do think it's relevant. That's a QR code to my website. Again, we may or may not be a fit, but again, if you wanted to learn more about what we do and how we actually work with brand services to actually accelerate them in more of a hand-holding process, you can scan that one there. What I was going to say is another really good way to understand frameworks. So I would start with this. Start with the Google, that's a project in itself, okay? To build out a library, you could at least, with multiple questions, get a couple of months of content there. But the other piece is, again, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. I want to actually serve frameworks to my audience. So remember I spoke earlier about what is a TikTok algorithm, right? So there's 3 core components. So the helicopter view of the 3 core components is, number 1 is followers on your brand channel. Number 2, it's trending frameworks. And number 3, it's benchmarking. So what number 1 is? Brand followers. Every time a piece of content goes to the platform on TikTok, whether it's through creators or whether it's your own brand channel, it looks at a mirror audience of your last 5,000 followers to understand what sort of people and avatar are following your channel, to give us an idea about who should we serve this piece of content to. Because every time it goes out to the platform, it's a test audience. So again, if you don't have 5,000 followers on your own channel, we need to get to that. Do not pay some bullshit company to go get followers for you, because the algorithm we scattered is just a mess. So it's like our number one concentration. I need 5,000 followers on my own channel. What's the best way to get followers? Add value, right? How am I going to add value? Answer the questions that people want to know in your niche. So that's piece number one. So that will help you get underway in regards to followers. Once you have that, then you get traction much faster. This is all like seed planting as you build your business. The second thing is trending frameworks, which I'll get back to in a second. And the third piece is benchmarking. So what benchmarking is, every time a piece of content goes to the platform, it gets sent to a 300 test audience. Anyone who's on TikTok now and you've got a few videos that got like a few thousand views, and you've got other views that have only got like a couple of hundred, they call it TikTok jail. The reason why is because that was a test audience where it didn't get enough traction to get to the next bucket. So TikTok works in bucket. It goes out to 300. You need a certain amount of likes, shares, comments, rewatches, engagement to get to the next bucket, which is 700 to 1,000. Then it happens again. And then the next bucket goes to 5,000, 30,000. And that's how virality happens. Because every time you go into a new bucket, you're hitting all the pillars that actually help with engagement, that tells the platform, oh, you know what, our consumers are loving your content. We'll just keep showing more and more and more and more people. That's piece number 3. The second piece is trending frameworks. So again, I wouldn't do this immediately. I would do the Google thing first, but then once you've got that up and running, trending frameworks is a fantastic way to find ways to build content. And what I mean by that is, if you started a brand new TikTok account today, TikTok has no idea who you are. Doesn't know if you're like me, who talks really fast and gets excited about TikTok. You could be a kid at school, a mum at home, a politician, an athlete. It has no idea who you are. So what it does, it serves you all different pieces of content that, as a brand new user, so you could be like, you know what, ABC Sarah Martin, new account, doesn't matter. Because on TikTok, you can have multiple accounts. Just open up a brand new one. But it's going to send you everything, and you're just going to swipe past it because you're like, I'm not interested, not interested, not interested. What you want to do is we're going to build out a ghost account. So you have to think about, okay, I know I serve lots of people, but who is the core consumer that I serve or can make the most money out of? Because we're running a business at the end of the day, right? So they might be, you know what, a mum or a dad, but they could have their own small business. They do kids sports on the weekends all the time. You know what, they've got a couple of dogs. They love this. They'll have a certain amount of likes and dislikes. AI is really good for this. You can sit like, okay, this is I believe my core avatar. Give me clear likes and dislikes. I don't give a shit about Donald Trump or FIFA, but I care all things about outdoors. What I'm trying to do is, I'm going to have this new account. I'm going to pretend to be that avatar, and I'm going to swipe past anything they have no interest in whatsoever. But I'm going to spend time on stuff that they would be interested in. And obviously not an accountant stuff, but it could be, like I said, family outings, parks, cooking, whatever you think your avatar might be interested in. And the algorithm gets smarter and smarter and smarter. It goes, more of this, less of that. More of this, less of that. You do this for 10 days straight, for 20 minutes a day. What happens is you have an algorithm that started off with, I have no idea who you are, to now a ghost account, which is the exact style of content that your consumer receives. So now on that, when I go on that every day, I can see new trending frameworks. And I'm like, you know what? I know if I build a piece of content with my spin on it and I do it in this way, I know that the likelihood of being sent to the audience I want to serve is extremely high, because I have a ghost account that I can see this style of content is being served over and over again. So in the makeup niche, I do a lot, obviously, over there in the States. It was girls getting in the car. And literally, they get in the car and the steering was there like, oh, my boyfriend's going to love this. Check it out. This is amazing. And it's in the car. We started with that like 6-8 months ago and made squillions out of it in makeup, but then it trended over into hair, earrings, everything. But it's the same framework. It's girls getting in the car, just got out of the shops at the same time to close the door, and they talk about it. They put the visor down and they're saying about all the things and how it affected them. So through this process, you will learn new frameworks that then, okay, I understand from Google how to answer the questions, but I can also see what's trending right now. Because if I can jump on the back of those trends, you'll get more downstream reviews. Everything is more downstream reviews. So I know that's a lot there, but that's something else I would look at. I'll stop there, guys, because I know I've run a little bit over time. Sorry about that. But I'll answer any Q&As. There's a lot of questions in here. So girls, if you guys, I'm like,
Yeah, no, that was phenomenal, Graeme. Thank you.
Riff any questions and I'll help.
Covered heaps. I picked up a couple of questions from it. Hannah asked, should she create a TikTok account and share videos of her service on her account, or should she get an influencer to share her video? Pretty sure you kind of covered that. We're not doing influencer anymore. Is that the go?
Yep, do it yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the world of TikTok, virality has nothing to do with followers or hashtags. So we could both put up a video. Someone's got 1 million followers, someone's got none, but the algorithm looks at it exactly the same around, are you educating and entertaining, and are you hitting the benchmarks with likes, shares, comments, rewatches, full watches? They don't look at how many followers do you have in regards to how many we'll send it out to. It's always a test audience. So yeah.
Building those numbers, if we share it then to like Facebook or other ones, does that help that, or does it have to be within TikTok itself?
No, so the TikTok virality only happens on the platform itself. It has nothing to do with any other platforms. But what you would do is, if you have a video that's really popping off on TikTok, you would just take that piece of content and then serve it on the Facebook platform and run ads behind it. Because for me, I'm like, I've already tested it organically, so now I'm going to test it on a paid platform because I understand like the shop's not here and whatever else yet. But yeah, what you want to do is all different angles. And like I said, for WhatsApp specifically, it's the same Google process. What are all the questions that us crazy entrepreneurs who love having offices everywhere and where we travel are asking? What can we help them with? And you start doing those kind of pieces, then again, you will get traction. And it's all about never a sell, never like, we're doing a deal this month or whatever else. It's about how can we educate, entertain, and then people just know your brand. That's what the concept is.
Well, the good news is Hannah and Lisa are on the call. So guys, you're on to that one. I've got a question, mainly because I run a charity as well. And on the charity, one of like our founder has TikTok and she does great TikToks under her name. Should we just create a charity one like for our service and share her stuff to that, or should we get her to do it directly from the charity? Like, what's the best way, individually, or do we do it specifically for a business? So Sarah, for example,
doesn't matter.
Should we have a business one or a private one? Which one? What's the way that we do it?
Doesn't matter. If you have a business brand channel or a personal account, it's indifferent in regards to the style of account. It just means on business account, you can run a few more ads and stuff behind it, or your brand channel. It's most likely, though, that you're always going to get more traction on personal accounts because, again, people connect with people before they connect with brands. So that's where it's like, well, what is the goal? You wouldn't put both pieces of content on both channels. So the rules are you can take up to 40%. So if you have a really good video on a personal channel, but you want to put it on the brand channel as well, then you would take 40% of that, but you have to do new 60%. So new hook, new CTA, new finishing content, different background, because double ups are something that TikTok crammed down on. But in regards to if it was, doesn't matter which channel, I guess the good thing about having a brand channel is then you can have multiple people on it through the team, where obviously a personal channel is just the one person. But if she's like a one-hit wonder, so to speak, and she's like the only face of the charity, then you could just do it on your own channel. Because again, it's all discovery. That's what we're trying to achieve.
Would you use mutual hashtags so that it didn't matter which channel it went through?
You could, but it makes no difference.
Okay.
Like hashtags make zero difference. It's all, just same as followers. It's all vanity metrics. So in TikTok's like people follow you because like they like your content, but just because they follow you, the next piece of content doesn't get served to them. It gets served to new audience. It's always new audience, always test of 300.
Okay. Michelle has put in the chat quite a while ago that she sells products, not a service, and to include advice for products. But I think we've pretty much covered that, haven't we? It's
unless you want to unmute yourself and I haven't answered anything, but yeah, like products much easier than services because there's less trickiness in regards to showing. But is there something specific you want to unmute yourself, or have I answered things, I hope?
Okay. We might come back to Michelle if Michelle wants to extend on that.
Sure.
Hannah has asked further, does it have to be super professional?
No, the less professional, the better.
Okay.
No, because again, like we don't want professional. Like the squeezing pimples, there's a reason why, like I said, those videos get virality, right? I know it sounds silly, but it really is.
And it's like what you were just doing. Like, I mean, I'm not saying I love that you swear, but you know how you just said shit and bullshit and stuff. But like, that's how I generally talk to people. But at first it's quite polarizing because you go, oh my God, he just said shit in the middle of a webinar. But people relate to it because like, that's how I talk.
Honestly,
people at a barbecue.
I'm 43 years old. I couldn't care what anyone thinks nowadays. I'm at a stage where I'm like, you know what? I'm not egotistically, I know I'm good at what I do. And again, it's
Yeah.
like to give you value, if you can just speak how you are as a human being, you will 100% get way more connection, because the more polished it is, the more it looks like an ad you're trying to sell me some stuff, right? So raw and relatable will win every time.
Well, April has a question as well. If I already post consistently on Instagram, can I start by cross-posting instead of creating entirely new content?
You could. It just depends on your style of Instagram content, because it is professionally and polished. I don't think it's going to get traction on TikTok. But if it's more raw relatable, yes. I will say though, and not to try and give you more stuff, but just you need to think about this, is cadence and consistency is more important than volume on TikTok. This is what normally happens. People are like, oh, you know what? Heard Graeme speak. TikTok's the way to go. Let's go. I'm going to post every day. And they do it for like 5 days. And like, this is really hard. I haven't got to the Google thing yet. I'll get to it. And then they're like, I'll give it a miss for a few days and then I'll jump back onto it. And then they do it every second day. And then they do it like every 5th day. And it got explained to be about dating someone new, which is really interesting from Alana, who's head of TikTok USA. She's like, Graeme, if we were just dating, like just starting to hang out, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. She's like, imagine this. Imagine you're dating me and then you message me every day for 5 days straight. Then you don't message me for 4 days. You send 3 messages all on the same day to try and catch up a few things. Then I don't hear from you for a week. And then you message me every second day from then onwards. She's like, as a relationship, how are we feeling? Can I trust you? Like, probably not. I'm super unreliable. She goes, that's exactly how the algorithm looks at it. So you are better off doing 1 post every 3 days and sticking to it religiously, so it understands you will show up once every 3 days. And then once every 2 days, then once a day. And then, as you know, start building things out like 2-3 times a day is amazing. But cadence and consistency will build your business much better than like having this big energy and then stop. So that's what I would say with the Instagram stuff. If you're going to repurpose it, don't pick and choose, be like, oh, this one I think and this one not. Because even though the content might not be the greatest for TikTok specifically, you need to build a trust level with the algorithm that, what you're consistently showing up. Even though your videos might be shit to start off with, but like, everyone starts off that way. And then we can evolve from there. So just keep that in mind.
Cool. Michelle asked, targeting a smaller audience is better than a broad targeting.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, there you
But
go.
but the thing is that like a small audience is thousands of people. I don't care what it is. I don't care how you niche down. It's thousands and thousands of people, sometimes millions. So yeah, always niche down, because the more you can build content that the person feels like you're speaking directly to them, the quicker you'll get breakthrough.
Okay. This has been amazing, and we could talk for another hour. I guarantee we could easily do that. There are a few more questions there.
Sure.
Graeme's already put up his QR code, but this is going to go onto our YouTube, I think, and you guys will all get a copy of it in your email in the next day or two. That'll come from Lisa. So if there are any more questions, feel free to reach out to Graeme. You've got his details there. Graeme, if someone is listening today and they've never, ever posted on TikTok for their business, what would you tell them to do first?
I would have a conversation with yourself to be like, okay, am I going to be the face of it, or am I going to be the pure conductor? Because that decision level just sets your tone. It's like, no, I'm going to be the face of it. Great, because actually it's much easier to get moving forward. If you're going to be a conductor, that's fine. Then you know what? You need to be waving the wand. You need to educate yourself, which I hope I've given some value today, and then start bringing people into your business that will become the face of it. Every brand always has a face of it who gets successful on TikTok. And they're not always the owner, and that's okay, but they don't have to be like a creator gun for hire. They can be somebody in the team. Like I've got businesses I work with where like the floor manager is the person who just loves being on camera. Amazing. She's our girl, but it's familiarity. So that's what I would think about. And just like top level, think about this. If I said earlier, you need to be seen 7 to 10 times for people to know you, like you, trust you. If I see one brand with 10 different faces, I'm still at level 10 because it hasn't clicked to me that, oh, all these different faces are actually all the same brand. But if I see the same person 10 times, then I went from top funnel to bottom of funnel. So that's just some things to think about.
No, that has been amazing. It's I'm pretty sure it's left everybody with 3 billion questions. So thank you for giving us your time and sharing your knowledge with our WhatsO community. We've had a good mixture of WhatsO staff and WhatsO members like yourself. So that was great.
Cool.
Thank you, Hazel, Lisa, and Hannah, for helping bring the Skill Swap together today. And to everyone who joined us, thank you for taking time out of your day to learn something new. That's exactly what these Skill Swap sessions are for, sharing the knowledge that exists within our community, making connections, and hopefully walking away with something practical that we can put into action. And keep an eye out for the next Skill Swap. It will go live very soon. And if you want to present a skill swap, reach out to marketing. Yeah, I think that's it. Thanks, Graeme. That was
Cool.
quite amazing. And
Thanks
yeah,
for having us, guys. Hope I converted a few years.
yeah.